Let me know if it cuts out. So we are live on Facebook right now. Hey everybody, John Scott with Vegas Nonstop. My good friend John English, right here. And John, where's your phone? Let's go live on yours.
It never works.
It does work, and that's where we get
It's
tons
the
of viewers
iPhone
because we got
10.
tons of fans. Amal Shah's in the studio.
How are you?
There you go. Here's my Facebook.
Yeah, so go to
Alright,
mine.
What do I do now?
Go to
You know the
me.
good news is I will never be asked that
Like
question.
us and share us and like us and share us. La la, you too.
I don't have Facebook.
No, you don't. I know, so I can never tag you in.
And now what?
So now I'm live.
I'm only on Twitter so I don't get fined.
I am.
I'm on Twitter too.
Right there, so
It's
now
funny,
you do
people
share.
And away we go.
Any of its advertisers.
Okay, sure.
You're on Twitter.
And good afternoon, boys and girls, moms and dads, and children of all ages. Jonathan Scott with another exciting adventure of Vegas Nonstop here on NBC Sports Radio 920 AM. We have a special caller on the phone. Caller, are you there? I think I'm fine. I understand that over the weekend you had a great meeting and you've got some questions about sports related. I did see your interview on 60 Minutes, Mr. President. I think she's the president. I think she's the president now. So I said you were all over the news. You were all over. You had fake news, real news. You had a special guest in the Oval Office over the weekend. I think it's great, but you know, Mr. President, I don't really know Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson to call him on the phone and see if you could get Kanye and you to play in the foursome over the, you know. Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm trying to call Tiger. Maybe John knows Tiger. John knows Tiger. John English knows Tiger. It's John English, yeah. Yes, it's just John English. He's in the studio.
How are you, Mr. President? You making America great again? You gonna make golf great again? Did you make Tiger Woods great again?
Now, Mr. President, I've got one more question because it's related to Kanye being in the Oval Office and some of the language that was used in the particular. It starts with an M and an F. Was used for the first time in the Oval Office on a broadcast. I'm wondering if you could call the FTC. Can you call the FTC and get permission for us to say "mother effer" on NBC? One of those letters. Okay. Well, Mr. President, we know you're busy and you've got all kinds of things to do with Malinka. Nothing to do. Well, then you could have come in the studio if you had nothing to do. We're in Vegas, baby. If it ain't a Trump hotel, it's a dump hotel. Okay, John and I are gonna get together. We're gonna try and call Tiger and set up the foursome with you and Kanye. '49ers and the Packers. Yes, and the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
Beautiful Lambeau Field.
the frozen tundra.
I was just there. It's great.
President of the United States, John DiDomenico. Thanks, pal. Thanks, everybody. All right. That was our friend John, just to start off the show with a little bit of humor, because that's what we're all about. Good afternoon, Jeffrey with the G Line 1. Go ahead.
Hello, Jonathan. How are you?
I think I'm okay, unless you've heard anything.
No, I have not, and you look well.
I feel rested.
For a Monday, you look well.
Well, yeah, I feel rested. I watched a lot of football yesterday. I had my plenty of couch time. I watched your New England Patriots, as frustrated as that was at the last minute of the game, because I got to the window. I was talking to you and I was texting them all, and I was like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, it's +4. I should take the Chiefs +4. As I'm getting to the window, it dropped to 3.5. I took it as a sign from above, and I was going to be watching the game with my Patriot friends down in Cape Marino. And when I'm watching a Patriots game, I better take the Patriots because I'm going to sit next to them through the whole game. So I took the Patriots, and I took the over, and -3.5. And what did I get beat by? A half a point. A half a point made the difference in that
I
game.
had KC and won by half a point.
And that's why the half a point exists.
What?
That's why it
Exactly.
exists.
Yeah.
He said that's why the half point exists.
That's why the
At
half
that
point exists.
point, it would have made sense for you to buy it down.
John English is a bookmaker. He's a bookie, a
No,
real
no,
live
no,
book.
no.
No, you're not?
No, not anymore.
You always say you are. Okay, I'm lying.
At that point,
He's
it
not.
would have made
He's
sense
not.
for you to pay extra and buy it down to
Or
3.
take the money line.
Or you could have done something simple, just waited on the end live and taken the Kansas City +10.5, and you would have never been sweating.
Well, it was a great game anyway. I mean, we got 43-40, 83 points on the board,
Wow.
almost like a college game.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Did you watch that one?
I got part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been spending most of my time on the plane, so I can't be a bookmaker
So
anymore.
we brought John in to talk about sports wagering, which we're going to get to in a little bit, and the G2E convention and some UNLV panels that he's been on, and it's a hot topic: sports wagering getting legalized around the country and all kinds of other
I
stuff.
quit when the Yankees lost 16-1. That was it. Don't say anything, Jeffrey. I don't want to hear it.
That was the
I'm
end
not
of it.
saying a word, but
My ex-wife
last
would
night
be
was
dead.
last night was a good night for Red Sox and Patriots fans. That's all I'll say.
Did you do your 4-team parlay on Bo Sox and Patriots again? No.
No.
You weren't going to push your
I
luck.
don't want to put the bad juju on it.
How's your Superbook doing? Last time I saw you, you were real excited about being.
Yeah, not that excited anymore.
Well, that's not true. Hold
Oh,
on.
are you? Okay.
Well, we're 6 weeks in.
What are you
Five-
gonna do?
6 weeks in. I'm 2 games above 500.
Okay.
It's respectable.
By the way, last week, the week before, I noticed they said that most people in the Superbook were also 1-4 last week.
Yep.
Right.
So, yeah, the primary lines, there was New England was a big play. Chicago Bears was a big play.
Oh, the Bears did it to me again yesterday.
Buffalo did it to me again yesterday.
I don't even know why you would touch Buffalo.
I'm born there.
Oh,
Because he's from Buffalo.
But the Bears come back and take
The
the
Bears.
lead on
No,
Miami.
the Bears lost.
And then in overtime,
In
they have a
overtime,
chance to
they
win
missed
the
the
game,
field.
and he misses the field goal.
Missed the field goal.
Well, they were fortunate enough to even be in that position because Kenyon Drake fumbled at the
1 yard line,
half-inch line, basically.
Yeah.
And that was critical in terms of keeping the Bears' hopes alive. But I'll tell you right now, listen, the Bears have a great defense.
How did you do this week
I did pretty good
at the
because
Super Contest?
we went 3-2 because
That's what
actually
I did.
one of my plays actually was against everybody was I liked Miami, and then when the game went to 7, I loved that line.
Oh yeah.
I thought that
It
was
went
a
to
gift.
7.
Yeah, the Sunday went to 7 on the regular
I
line
didn't see that.
because Osweiler was playing instead of Tannehill. But I'll tell you something. Speaking of the Bears, because I know we have a lot of Chicagoans out here in Las Vegas. The Bears are an elite level defense in terms of top 5, top 7 defense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, here's the problem. When you use a guy from my high school to quarterback your team, you're not going to win anything. I was not a
Who
good
went to your high school?
Mitchell Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky.
Yes. You guys aren't winning anything with Trubisky, and that's the problem. And
You
until
think he's Polish?
I'm going to go on a limb and say yes. But here's the thing. I think
My new Collins.
here's a guy who didn't play a lot in college, played 1 season in North Carolina, was drafted, and in terms of actual playing experience. And I think the Bears have a chance in this division where I think it's open. I think Minnesota's good, but they're not as good defensively as they've been in the past. I think Green Bay's solid, but we always know they have defensive issues. And the good thing with Minnesota is they have arguably one of the worst coaches in the National Football League, Mike McCarthy, who Aaron Rodgers must love because he still has a job.
There's no doubt that Central Division's going to be there's going to be a lot of parity there, but I got to tell you, this Bears team, they find ways to screw up games. It's unbelievable. We'll see what they do next week. I think they're playing New England.
The sheet's in front of you.
New England.
Yeah. And I was down at Lambeau Field. I'll tell you, the spirit is high there right now. I mean,
The
it's
frozen
just-
tundra of
it's
Lambeau Field.
It's gorgeous. I mean, I just love it.
Oh yeah. How can you not? It's like
The tradition of
even as a
Reds,
Red
yeah.
Sox fan, walking into Yankee Stadium, you get chills because
I
you
mean,
feel it.
the life's, I mean, massive Lombardi Trophy, the whole ordeal. I mean, just standing under Litzman, well, he moved it away. Okay, the Lombardi Trophy was incredible.
I would imagine.
That'd be a fun place to go. I'd love to go to Lambeau. You know, even though the
You
Packers
go
suck.
walk around. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
Packers suck, but you know, I still would want to go there. That's
I'm
a
not
10
going
o'clock
there.
game on Sunday. Is
Yeah.
Bears New England.
Yeah, that's a 10 a.m. game.
Thursday night Broncos Cardinals. Anybody care?
Nope.
People who live in Denver and Phoenix.
That's it. Nobody.
People in Denver care because they want to see if they're going to fire Vance Joseph, and people in Arizona care because they want to know if they can scalp their tickets if anyone's going to buy them for that game.
Well, they're all owners, aren't they? Anyway, do you guys want to start with baseball? Jeffrey with a G, you want to tell us where exactly we're at this Monday? I know there's a game tonight.
We're all tied up across the board, Johnny, both in the National League and in the American League. Boston came back last night after losing Game 1 to Houston and took that game 7-4. They jumped out ahead 2-0, fell behind 4-2, then went ahead and stayed for good on a Jackie Bradley Jr. double off the wall that also seemed to roll along the ledge for about 3 seconds, which cleared the base.
I thought at 4-2, the way Price was going, I thought the Red Sox were going to be on the mat and down 0-2 going back to
I did
Houston.
too, and that was a
I
huge
just didn't-
comeback.
And even though they have such a great offense, I just didn't feel like mentally they were going to be able to come back. And then
I
just to be able
agree.
to answer in that inning was impressive.
That hit by JBJ was huge.
But I'll tell you what the key play for me in that game was. That was probably the number one play. But the second one was in the 7th inning. Mookie Betts gets on with a walk, gets to second on a strikeout wild pitch, gets to third on a pass ball, scores on a pass ball. They don't even get a hit, and he scores a run just because of his speed. And that was so critical because, you know, as a pitcher, there's such a difference when you have a 1-run cushion and 2. You just have so much more of a margin to work with, and that was big. And I think this is going to be an outstanding series.
Yep.
And the reality of it is he comes through in the clutch and Dodgers win it. This is going to be a great series. I have been pulling for the Brew Crew just simply because this is a team that's not in a big market. They don't spend that money to go get those big guys. I like when smaller markets have the opportunity to be successful, particularly in baseball.
I agree. I'll take the Brewers tonight too with Julie Chastain on the mound plus 157. I like that.
But I tell you what, Bueller's been outstanding. I think it's going to be a great game. Wind blowing in from right field at 13 miles an hour. This game is, to me, more of an under. Shadows could be a factor because keep in mind at Dodger Stadium you have
This
that
time of
high,
day, yeah.
absolutely high backdrop
That
there.
late afternoon.
Yeah.
100%.
So
But it's
something
all right
to consider.
because no one's going to be in the seats till third inning anyway.
Features Chicago pizza, Vienna hot dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, wet with the jardiniere, beer, wine, sangria. Tonight's Monday Night Football kicks off at 5:20. It's going to be the 49ers against the Packers, like we talked about, in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. We're going to have our pizza and podcast again at Amore Taste of Chicago right after the show. Stop by for a visit at 3:30 in the afternoon. We also suggest you check out Misbehaved Game Show at Bally's and George Wallace at Westgate. See some live shows. And we're going to take our first commercial break. You're listening to Vegas Nonstop on NBC Sports Radio 920 AM. Stay right where you are.
I did go to Lambeau, which is great. Have you ever been inside?
Now it's
I've
fine.
not been there.
You saw a game there?
No, you can't call in regarding the
No, we
skins.
went,
Call-ins
South
suck.
Vegas.
You could text us what you want to say, Clint.
Are you talking to the phone?
I'm talking to Clint. He just said, can I call in about the
He
skins?
can hear you?
The
I
Redskins.
guess-
Oh,
yeah,
you know
he's
what?
watching.
Matter of fact, we'll
to
go to
see
them
a practice.
next.
They didn't have anything going on.
Skins?
Yeah, it was a good
That was a
game.
big game yesterday.
No,
There was a lot of sharp money on Carolina yesterday. Tell me about Green Bay.
Green Bay's house. It's excellent. Really, when they get this restaurant, they're called 1990. You got to do it.
What do you have to say about
all
the Redskins?
history Of Lambeau Field, from Lambeau all the way to
Are you sharing it?
Trophy. They got this massive.
On my wall.
Yeah,
I
is it
did all
going
my
through?
rooms.
All the
Yeah.
members.
When it goes to that, does it stop or does it freeze?
It just does the same thing yours does it, warning
It's
low,
19
it's
it's 8
low,
years old.
low
Yeah.
memory or
Oh,
whatever.
it just says slow, but it's still going?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's like a yellow.
Careful, I can hear. I know you can hear us. What's your question? Call-ins suck.
I forget it's the Facebook thing.
Doesn't have the home button, right? That drives me nuts.
Homes for the
That's
holidays.
not the home button that I missed. It's the phone doesn't function properly.
Not mine
It
either.
glitches, it freezes, it goes off. Yeah, it sucks. I'm going back.
It's the worst phone.
It's the worst phone I've ever had. I'm going back.
What do you gotta do?
Well, you're still alive.
Who's your service provider?
AT&T.
I'm on T-Mobile. I
Are
told
we
them
done with
No,
baseball?
it's the phone.
I told them it's not the service provider.
Done with baseball?
Of course, I
No.
cracked it all across the
Wanna talk
back,
about
but
baseball?
it's not working all that great.
We can talk on NFL. I would say probably more NFL. Just listen, we can just kind of briefly touch on if either of you guys have an opinion on this Dodgers game.
Tonight?
I know John will have some hockey stuff to talk about if you want to talk about pregame, preseason a
A
little.
little bit of that. And,
Sounds good.
No, I got an opinion on that. I like the Brewers tonight.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk about
I don't
that.
believe that here.
And I also like Green
Jeffrey?
Bay tonight, by the way, just because of where they're playing.
-10?
Yeah, but where they're playing.
Dude, have you seen CJ Beathard play quarterback?
No.
You're lucky.
Okay, here's
He's
Clint.
late at 10?
No,
Jeffrey?
I don't lay double digits.
Jeffrey with a G line one. Clint says he doesn't believe that the Redskins are anything more than mediocre, and letting Cousins go is going to be a black mark in their history. Letting Cousins go.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Why, Cousins looking so great in Minnesota?
He is actually.
How long?
He's looking okay.
No, he's looked good. He's been better than I thought. But here's the thing: they don't
That
have enough.
receiver, Thielen.
Are they talking about letting him go?
No, they
just
let
don't-
him go.
Oh, they let him go.
They just don't have enough pieces in Washington.
Who's
to win.
quarterbacking for Washington?
Alex
Smith?
Yeah. Alex Smith is not bad. He gets criticized a lot, but look, I like a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over.
Oh, you mean like Tom Brady did in his own
Well, that was,
side of the field last night to force a touchdown?
Okay, here we go.
you know, he had the over.
The over was over by then.
Okay.
I was thinking you had Trump on, so.
Jonathan Scott back in the studio, back on the air. Happy Monday to you here on Vegas Nonstop on NBC Sports Radio 920 AM. Our friend Ronnie Foster is going to be playing at the Sand Dollar tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. If you're looking for things to do. Again, Misbehaved Game Show over at Bally's. Great interactive, kind of theatrical comedy kind of a thing. Who's clearing the throat over there? Is that would be Jeffrey with a G line one. Go ahead, fighting a flu bug.
Jeffrey's fighting a cold, an
No.
upper respiratory
Why don't you say
infection.
that?
As we all move away closely. So, any more baseball wrap up before we move into hockey or football or?
Yeah, no, both guys had an opinion on this Dodgers Brewers game. I just want to see. I know some people out there probably driving around 2.5 hours before first pitch want to get a bet in on this one. I'm leaning towards the under, but you guys both like the Brew Crew here.
I like the Brewers. I like the Brewers and I like the Packers, even though Jeffrey thinks I'm nuts with the.
What's up with you in
No,
Wisconsin?
I didn't know.
It's because of those native casinos, isn't it?
Listen,
Those
I
tribal
didn't- I didn't
casinos.
say-
No, it's the bratwurst. It's the feeling.
It's the Broad Stop.
I didn't say you were nuts. I said I know that you like the Packers.
You're
Are you
nuts.
willing to lay 10 with them? Is my question.
Yeah.
Okay. You know that's
Because of where they're playing in the cold.
and that's fine. And I tell people all the time, you know, when you're betting, and Amal can testify to this, is that
What is the weather there right now?
Yeah, exactly, you don't even know.
Minus 30.
It's gonna be cold.
no,
Wind
it's
coming
not.
up.
It's probably not even that
10
bad.
degrees.
Nonetheless.
I know it's in
The fact of the
Chicago.
matter is, when people
No.
bet, they bet with their heart,
Not with their head.
and I tell people you're betting a number, not a team.
Well, of course.
So
But
you're
I'm-
betting the Packers, but you're betting Packers minus 10.
I'm betting the environment.
It is 39 degrees already in Wisconsin. I can't believe it.
Yeah, no, I looked at Chicago. It's like in the 40s, and at night it's 33 degrees.
I was mad last night when I went out at about
I-
11 o'clock and it was 60 degrees.
I
had to
turned
go
the
back and
furnace
get
on this
inside.
morning.
So those boys from San Fran,
When it comes to sports betting, I have no heart.
exactly, and nor should you. There's no emotions involved.
There's no crying in baseball.
Nothing I could do about it.
Exactly.
There's no crying in
So
baseball.
you're saying you'd lay the 10 at home in Lambeau?
I'll say the
I
third
think
time.
you're right. I don't think that
probably
San
have it
Fran
on.
can muster up any sort of an offense.
They're
with-
not a good team.
I don't think they could do it in
Is
Lambeau.
it beat
Exactly.
hard? Beat what's his name?
C.J. Beathard,
Beathard?
the grandson of former general manager of many teams, including the Redskins, Bobby Beathard.
I like the- I
Tell
like-
Clint we just got a Washington Redskins reference in there.
I like calling him beat hard.
Well, that's how it's spelled.
You should be doing commercials.
Instead of Bethard.
Yeah, John's just going to lob that over to me. Like, you touch that one. That's in your
I give you all
wheelhouse.
the low-lying fruit.
Dirty boy. Potty mouth.
You know what? I like Green Bay tonight too. They're starting to put it together. Obviously, they've had some issues coming out of the gate. How many more penalties?
Who's quartering for the Niners?
Beat hard.
Oh, that's the guy's
Beathard,
name?
yeah.
No, Beathard.
And the Packers also have my other favorite
And
guy.
you'll
don't
buy
they?
into the points.
Ha ha, Clinton Dix.
Yeah.
And what?
And you buy into the points?
Would I lay the 10?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
This has blowout written
So you
all over
agree
it.
with me?
Yes.
Or did
although
I change your mind?
I don't typically like laying double digits. However, in this particular scenario, it lends favorably to the home team.
All right.
I think they're going to have a hard time, San Fran, flying into Lambeau, playing in that weather, and putting up points.
The frozen tundra.
How's
of
their
Lambeau.
defense on San Fran?
It's all right. It's not a world beater, but here's the thing: C.J. Beathard played at Iowa. It's not exactly like playing in the Bahamas, so I don't think the weather should be a factor for him. His bigger issue is he's just not that good to begin with.
Right.
I just like that his name is Beehard.
It's not his name.
Beehard and Ha Ha Clinton Dix. That makes it worth watching just to hear the announcers
Shady
say that.
McCoy,
Shady McCoy,
the muscle hamster.
the muscle hamster. We need more names in the NFL that I can have fun with. Baseball doesn't have, except for who.
T-Sizzle.
Yeah, except in baseball it's who. And
What do you mean who?
the pitcher for the
Don't
Cubs.
get that started.
No, that's a skit from.
No, but it's H-U.
Oh.
Is it pronounced who or is it you? You are Hugh and I am Hugh.
Close enough.
And I am the
That's
walrus.
definitely
Cuckoo
an
Cuckoo.
Abbott and Costello.
Okay, I know who's on first. Who's on first? You guys want to talk about hockey at all? Preseason?
Preseason.
What do you mean?
let's talk
Preseason's
about it.
over.
Yeah,
We're
it
into
started
the
about
season.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, regular season.
All right, all right.
I'm still Monday. I'm still
Welcome to
sleeping.
October, Jonathan.
This is what I'm reduced to.
So when's the next home game
2
here?
wins, 4 losses.
When's the next
Tomorrow night.
So hold on.
Give a
Now,
shout out to
you're
my-
bringing up a very good point. Let's talk to a local avid Vegas Night sports fan who's a season ticket holder who enjoyed all of last season and the miracle that it was. What is your take on this year's team? Is it time to hit the panic button, or is this team just needing a little more time to gel together?
I think that I'll take the latter.
I know you'll take the latter, but deep down, what do you think?
I think the latter.
Okay.
I think Fleury's got to find his groove. Okay, that's
What's wrong
first
with
and- he's not playing he's not playing up to par. He certainly.
Is he giving up soft goals, or the guy's not playing in front of him?
No, he doesn't have a strong defense like
Yeah,
he had
that's
to
exactly.
deal with last year. I mean, they all got to gel. I mean, Pacioretty's coming through for us a little bit on the first.
Line number 67
Yeah, I
from
mean,
Montreal.
so that's good to see. And go ahead.
I've got a quick question for you, John, and everybody here. Somebody complained to me yesterday. It was a season ticket holder for the Golden Knights, and he sold a few games on StubHub. And because he did that, he said they've turned him down for his tickets again
Correct.
this year.
Correct.
I guess that's the fact. I heard the same thing.
But I heard so many people
I
sold their
I
tickets.
really don't know that for a fact, but that's what I've heard. I heard
There
that they're
is
canceling
language in
accounts,
their contracts because the team tries to fill the stadium with as many local Vegas Knights fans as possible, as opposed to opposing team fans coming in and buying tickets. They have somehow, I don't know how they did it legally, put in a clause where if you choose to sell your tickets, you render yourself, I don't know, you don't have the same guaranteed rights to get those same
I
tickets again
heard
for the
it
next
from the
season.
same person you did. So, I'll tell you, I haven't sold any tickets, so I don't know. even when I could have, when it came down, even on
Many
fly
times,
seats,
many
yeah,
times.
when we came down to the playoffs and people were offering us an enormous amount of money for our seats, there was no chance. I had to go to every game. Between me and my family, we used every ticket. My kids got the next tickets. So a shout out to Mr. Michael Joitzer, who's taking me tomorrow night. So
Michael Dreitz has taken me to a couple of games also.
I get meant
Trice
to.
was a good guy to go to a game with too.
yeah,
He's
we're
fun.
gonna
My
have-
question to the guy, it wasn't somebody that you knew, it was somebody, one of a Patriots fan that I was with last night, that was complaining about StubHub. I said, well, did you want to buy your tickets again this year? He said, no. I said, then shut up.
I've used Fly Seats. I haven't a problem with it. So if somebody has the Fly Seats app, you just transfer it to them.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
It's a beautiful app. It works great. You can transfer them right there.
That was the paid advertisement.
I'm curious to see as the season goes on how the city reacts to the Knights because I'm hearing nothing, right?
All right, so
Nothing. It's dead. Crickets.
All right, so the buzz, we got to start winning, of course, right?
Oh, well, of course. As they say,
And,
winning cures everything.
Exactly, and that's.
And I'm sure once Patchy already starts gelling a little better with that second line,
It's also early in the season. It's still warm. We just had hockey a few months ago. We had,
Gallant.
because we went so long into the season, all the way as long as you could go, almost as long as not long enough, but as far as you can go in hockey last year, we only had, a couple of months off.
True.
So and they're back at it, and I think that they do need to figure out what we're going to do on defense.
There are some injuries. There are some new faces. Flurry's maybe a little rusty getting back.
I'm liking a couple of the lines. I'm liking the front line. I like a Pacioretty right now.
How do you not love him?
And I love Fleury. Absolutely love him to death. So I hope that he gets his groove on.
A chance of flurry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while we've got you here, let's talk about. You've been on a couple of panels. Most recently, UNLV is flying you around the country to talk about sports wagering and how it's going to affect Las Vegas and how it's going to affect other cities and other states that are adopting it. What's the current status? Where's it at?
Yeah, it's been quite a whirlwind over the last week or so. So we had Global Gaming Expo in town last week, and
G2E.
G2E. The big topics were sports. For the first time in my life. Okay, I mean the Europeans are here now. Everybody's come from all over the world. All the years I've never missed a G2E all my life. Right, since its inception. Before that, I think it was W2G. But we've been doing this a long time. I've never seen a turnout like we've had in terms of people coming from all over the world for their interest in sports betting here in the United States. So for the first time, sports betting is truly relevant in the gaming world.
Why now more than ever? In other words, why in the past was William Hill, a UK sports book, not allowed to take action on our sports?
Well, they could have in the UK, but not in Nevada. Nevada was the only state in the United States that could accept legalized betting.
So now, because it's broadened its horizons, all those companies.
What's
that
happened was the federal law overturned. It was a law called PASPA, Professional Amateur Sports Protection Act. It was passed in 1992, and there was a couple of states that had exemptions, like Montana, Oregon, and Delaware, to lotteries. Although Delaware ran a sports lottery, the only place you could have true sports betting was right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, or anywhere in our state surroundings.
Reno.
Yeah, anywhere around in the state. So until then, you couldn't have sports betting other places, right?
So now New Jersey.
New Jersey,
Delaware.
Delaware, Nevada, West Virginia has gone online.
Pennsylvania or no?
Mississippi, Pennsylvania's
Next.
going online. And New York, Connecticut has some legislation in place. Rhode Island is ready to go live. So there's a lot of East Coasters ready that's coming out now. New Jersey numbers are looking really strong.
Super strong.
They're coming in super strong for just getting started.
Yeah.
And just for having a few casinos.
Agreed.
So a lot of that's coming. It's going to be the launch of mobile, and you're seeing these new brands and new skins like DraftKings now is in the sports betting business, and FanDuel is now in the sports betting business. They were
Correct.
bought by Betfair.
Not just DFS anymore.
Exactly. So all the Europeans are now here. I mean, there's a group from Poland called BFI that's going to be like.
I
really
want to go to that
awesome.
book. You know they're
Yeah.
going to get those lines wrong.
Funny, but I'll tell you what, these guys are phenomenal. I mean, I'm seeing such amazing things now at G2E. I mean, we saw so many great companies, so many
Will
great
Beefy
things.
be accessible locally here?
They're applying for a Nevada license. They're applying all over the country, just like a lot of people are doing.
So
So
how
that's
would
a
that
fun-
work? They would work out a licensing agreement with the local hotel to be third party and take the action on behalf of the hotel?
That's one way of doing it. That's the model that we used to have.
Right,
you know,
like
when
I've
we
seen it
were
with Cantor
Leroy's,
Gaming
and
or
then
some
of
of the other
course
ones.
William Hill is now the leader in our state.
Is
and-
CG still around too?
Yep, still around. You know, there's companies out there that, yes, exactly. We're coming into
That was Cantor Gaming?
either supply systems or to make third-party bookmaking operations or to be in partnership with both.
So John is a pioneer. John actually was the first to develop sports wagering on the smartphone. So we're going to get into a little bit more depth. I want to talk a little bit
I know
more
someone who's very happy about that.
about sports wagering and also about esports. But we're going to take another commercial break. You're listening to Vegas Nonstop here on NBC Sports Radio 920 AM. Stay right where you are.
It's amazing. So, you know, I mean, what's happening right now, it's unbelievable. It's like a gold, I wrote an article about the whole gold rush thing.
Can you send it to me?
Yeah.
I'd love to read it.
Yeah, and then we're also,
But I sure.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, I sure.
Plug in.
What's your
No,
number?
I
You don't know what?
What's that?
it's William Hill's going to be,
Another
we're just teaching one grade.
We're still live on Facebook.
With continuing education.
You don't want them to hear you? We're still live on Facebook.
Oh.
We still have an audience.
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
That's what I'm just telling you. If you're talking like it's in a whisper.
Go ahead. Just finish it. No one's gonna hear it.
So anyway, we were, no, it's okay.
No, I want people to hear it.
It's not
And
that-
that's why it's called broadcasting. You want to do something outside of the broadcasting, you do it outside of the broadcasting.
Continuing education.
No, we're not. We're on the air right now.
The audience is primarily, you know, regulators, congressmen, senators. They're not judges.
They forget. They don't care. They don't care about the viewer. They just don't care.
And UNLV is sponsored by this.
Why? What has it benefit?
Because UNLV is the center for research and
Attracting
gambling.
those
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
That's so secret.
UNLV is awesome. I mean, we are still the, I mean, we are the everybody's new to this, right? We were not so new to this, right? So it's been
We know.
really interesting. It's been really good. They're all trying to figure it out state by state how to do it right. Their tax rates. You know,
So I think the signal's been going through.
That's-
Reaching out to you and your
I don't know what it is, it's like sporadic.
Yeah.
So like us and share us and like us. They're having their own conversation.
Your state by state laws. and how to-
This is a big secret.
So I have one partner that goes one way. He was out the hearings because he sits
All right.
through all the stuff.
After the show, we're going to be over at Amore Taste of Chicago. Come by, have some pizza and podcast. And you can tell secrets too.
And by the way, just testified in Ohio and Kentucky. So those are states that are looking.
Why don't Italians like Jehovah's Witnesses?
Again, witnesses.
They don't like any witnesses. Are we back?
You know what's interesting to me is that everybody's trying to get a piece of the pie, which is great, but it's going to be interesting to see
They don't
when
care.
a lot of these states realize.
I can tell you what we
There's
think
not a
what the
lot of
number
money.
is. I can tell you the numbers if you want to talk about it.
What's that?
Well, we project about 100.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Billion?
And handle. And right.
Those that care.
Countrywide?
Countrywide.
I'm going to ask him. I was
What's
like,
that?
what were
No,
you?
no, not for this year.
No, next year.
Yeah, no, we have
2020.
2022, I believe. I'll check our numbers, but 2022.
And how much
when
of that
the
goes
levels
to the
out.
bottom line?
To the states, it depends on the state.
And their tax rates.
Nevada.
Plenty of free parking.
It's about $18 million.
That's it.
That's
Comfort Care Dental Group.
Well,
It's
I'll
ridiculous,
give it
right?
that.
That's why I was driving.
They take care of my
Yeah, I'll
teeth.
give it a math and it's,
Okay, we're back.
you look at math, ask me the question and I'll
He
give
doesn't
you an
like
answer.
math.
I can do that.
He doesn't like math.
I like math.
I'm going to ask you to repeat everything you just said.
I'll read it, okay.
That was the pre-show interview.
We'll talk about G2 and you.
You think?
And Jonathan Scott back with Vegas Nonstop here on NBC Sports Radio 920 AM. Hey, guess what? We're now available on iTunes and also on Google Play, which is just huge. All you have to do is type in Vegas Nonstop. You can hear today's show, you can hear last week's show, and just a few weeks back. So that's big news for us. And we're pretty soon we're going to be on Alexa, where you can say, hey Alexa, play Vegas nonstop, and if you're within shout of my voice, then it'll just turn on and play. So John, during the break, you were talking more about sports wagering on the smartphone and where it's at. That's where we left off. Where is it? How does esports fit into all this? Because that's what you were talking about at the panel that I was at.
Yeah, well, it's that's the thing now. We got a lot of new advancements in sports betting. So, esports, you have now people that can bet, well, in
Fortnite
Europe,
is the big one. Fortnite?
Fortnite's huge, right? It's gone through the roof, and people in Europe are used to betting on esports in different parts of there. Here in Nevada, we're still trying to figure out how to put the framework around it. It's event wagering here, so you can't just go up to a sports book right now and find the lines for esports.
Right.
But if you were in Europe or if you were in other places, you'd see it pretty common. And it was interesting. Of all the European people that were in our seminar, they really didn't understand our regulation, things we have to go through.
They were from Denmark, I think. And they were asking, I mean, my question that I didn't get to ask you is how cryptocurrency, because we're talking about millennials, that's who's playing esports, and they're using the cryptocurrency. They're using Bitcoin probably more than, my generation, and people that are, septuagenarians.
That's for sure.
more than my
That's a good
Bitcoin. I told both of you about Bitcoin, but you didn't listen. You didn't sell it when it was $23,000.
No, I gotta do it.
You hung on to it. I know.
I sold some away.
Yeah.
That's a little-
So if they want to bet, I mean, how do you
Yeah.
how do you maintain? How do you control
right
that?
now in Nevada, it's not legal to bet with Bitcoin, or it has
Anywhere.
No, not regs, not in Nevada, right, and not in New Jersey yet either. So for gaming, it's still something that's being explored, right? Cryptocurrency has its ups and downs, no pun intended there. But the reality is that the underlying technology of blockchain is what people are really interested in. It's how it could work in the gaming sector,
In other
and then
areas, yeah.
exactly, and then figure out the coin thing. Like everybody's got a coin right now. There's one that's successful, Unicoin Gold, which is being used on Unicorn's platform, has had a lot
What's
of.
Unicorn?
Unicorn is a game site. People go play
Okay.
multiple sites of games. They've had some success. They're backed by real sharp guys, and I liked what I saw there. But I believe more in the underlying technology than the fact that everybody needs to have a coin now. You're going to soon be
Well, there's over 2,000.
There'll be a Jonathan coin. There'll be a Lala coin. There's going to be a Jeffrey coin, and I'd rather just give.
There already is an English coin. It's called a pound.
Very good. I'd rather just give you a pound. Yeah.
A pound of anything. A pound of flesh.
No pun intended there
A
either.
pound of flesh. I know. Well, they're going to be trading cannabis. I don't know. Be trading everything.
No, but there's been some interesting movement, right? So you see that, which is going to add to the sports betting market eventually. It's huge. I mean, the viewership's massive. So we want to see that increase, and then eventually we'll figure out how to, work on match fixing and all the things along those lines. But earlier you were asking me about the math.
Correct.
Okay. So the math in Nevada is, let's say it's about, we hold about 5% on average.
Right.
We had some great years. 2006 was a great year. We had some bad years. All right. So overall, you're looking at this year, we're probably about 5.1, maybe in and around. We're going to break the 5 billion mark, we think, for the year.
In total take.
In total handle.
In handle.
Right, and handle. And then the win will be about 5%. Right. Right, so the state makes about $18 million off of that, a little more, $19 million.
That would be the 6.75%.
And the federal government on the handle, on the total amount of wagers,
The $5 billion
yeah, the $5 billion gets 1/4%.
on the big number.
Yes. So that's why when everybody was talking about league fees, about adding a percent, people don't understand. We only wind up with a nickel.
25
You
basis
take that
points.
nickel out of that nickel, now all the costs that have to come out of
left with less
operations
than
and
a
everything
penny.
else, and then then they want to split that, and it's just nothing like
It's,
it.
it's funny to me when the NBA comes out and says integrity fees. Where the hell is the integrity of the league when LeBron James puts on a cast after 4 games of the NBA Finals? Major League Baseball wants an integrity fee. Let me tell you something. Their integrity fee comes in the television contracts because without gambling, 95% of these sports, I couldn't care less. I'd follow Ohio State football. As soon as they lose a game, they're out of the national title race.
That's a fact.
I'd be
Yeah.
done.
No, that's an absolute fact. I mean, the most 99.9% of the time, the abnormalities in sports betting are noticed by the bookmakers, the guys on the other side of the fence. It's their money at risk, right? So, and you're right. The leagues can't protect everything, right? And, and the whole LeBron thing, I've been pretty outspoken about it at the show. I think I mentioned it when you were in the audience.
Yeah, you were talking about integrity. And
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put a policing agency over. What are they going to do? Put one in every casino? It's just not going to work.
Correct.
I think it's a joke. I think it's a disgrace when these leagues are asking for integrity fee.
You're right, though. Going to your point, though, they will get sponsorships. They're getting more engagements. The viewership, NHL stands to make an estimated $216 million extra dollars just on legalization of sports betting.
I think the
The NHL.
I think the
That's
NHL,
just the start.
I think the NHL has the greatest upside with having the gambling be more prominent. Here's the reality of it. Listen, you know this better than anybody. The NFL puts out an injury report on Tuesday only for gamblers.
Yeah.
The other teams already know what's up, what's down. And the reality is, I hate the fact that the National Football League tries to act like the gambling doesn't motivate this. To me, there's basically four fans. A fan like me who's a football fan. I don't follow any team in particular. But I love football, the strategy of the game.
Right.
You have fans who follow their particular team. You have fans who are gamblers, and you have fans who play fantasy. And to me, the majority of people nowadays that are following are either fantasy or gambling fans. Yeah, then you have that hardcore contingent fans of a particular team. But when you have a team that performs at a level like the way the Cleveland Browns have for the past 2 years, how many people are really going to follow that team religiously? And people say, oh, you should be a loyal, diehard fan. I always say, do you pay to go see a movie you already know is bad?
True, but to your point though, now it's a data-driven world too. I'm looking at what you're doing. You got the tablet up. You're looking at data. I had my phone. We were talking about stats.
Yeah, I'm looking at lines right now.
Right, exactly. So I mean, data's widely available now.
Yeah.
On multiple angles now,
Yeah.
from injuries to. I mean, look, it's just. For instance, I just because of the convention, I didn't have access to a television most of the time. Right, so I'm checking my phone.
Yep.
I'm looking at all my. By the way, I'm toggling between each one.
Sure.
I'm looking at every.
Yeah.
So
We all do too.
Exactly. So I mean, thank God for data on the go now, because otherwise, we just wouldn't be able to keep up with a lot of things that are going to be happening. Now imagine adding everything else on top of
You
it.
toggled right off of Facebook.
That's what I did. I didn't mean to do that.
You did. You
Yeah.
can't because you're not on right
That's
now.
right, you can
I
say
just
it.
checked. I just checked. Your fans aren't watching you.
My fans.
Your fans. You've got so many fans. All right, so guys, we've got Broncos playing the Cardinals on Thursday night. You want to get into predictions? Want to start talking about NFL a little bit?
Your segues are so classic.
Well, you want to talk more about sports wagering? Yes,
Let
another
me
question.
Well, let me tell you, this is the game Thursday night between Denver and Arizona, why the NFL should be paying Vegas money. Because nobody would watch this game if they didn't have money on it.
Correct.
Well, last week with Thursday was a little bit better, but
You want to prove the model is, you said it. I mean, and by the way, you nailed it. If we ever wanted to prove to the leagues how valuable sports betting is, all Vegas would have to do is for 1 weekend shut their televisions off.
I
Of course,
said,
nobody's going to do
no,
that.
I
for
said
our customers.
better yet. I said 1 weekend, first weekend of the season, Las Vegas and offshore, nobody put up any point spreads. See how many people watch games.
Is that-
well, I'm going to start betting money line after last night's
I
game.
mean, which it's a legend. They know that now. Fortunately, they bumped off of this, so it's less of a concern than it was before. What's more of a concern was that more recently there was a congressional hearing where we had our chairwoman Becky Harris, along with Sarah Slane from our American Gaming Association, go up against a wild man who's just anti-gaming in general. I think his name is Brunin. Testified in front of whether Congress should federally get involved in sports betting or leave it to a states' rights issue. And it was kind of left abruptly at the end where Congress just said, it's obvious we just got to keep a look at this or take a look at this. And, so there's no real clear definition of what's happened there. But that also happened just prior to this. Will there be federal oversight? And again, who's paying for that? So the objective is we want to win this money back from the offshore guys. Sorry if we got any sponsors.
No, we don't have any offshores. We don't have any, and FanDuel and Sports King haven't called up yet, but
And then we got the UNLV
They're on hold.
coming up.
Now, so tell us about the UNLV. I mean, they came to you and they recognized you as an expert in the field, and you just came back from Indianapolis,
Yes.
and call it Indianapolis.
It was a great place. Yeah.
It was a great
Home
place.
of the
but
Indy 500.
not if you want to drink late at night, it wasn't.
Yeah, home of the Indy 500.
Did you do your lap?
I walked the whole area. It was beautiful. Actually, it's a beautiful place.
You take one
but,
lap out of
the UNLV series. It's not just it's a great group of people that are involved. You can go online to UNLV and take a look at their Gaming and Hospitality series. There's a list of speakers and the topics and the classes and everything that are taking place. Next week, actually it's on the 25th. I'm excited to be doing the panel for UNLV. I'll be moderating the panel, but I have a great group of experts with me. I have Joe Asher from William Hill. I'll have Matt Davies from Scientific Games. I'll have Vic Salerno, the great Vic. Because obviously the
Sure.
overturning of PASPA allows the growth to go to other states for both sports betting and fantasy.
Very, very cool. Well, I know we're going to get into football in a second. We're going to take our last commercial break. Come back more with John English, Jeffrey with a G, and Amal Shah. Stay right where you are.
Amore, Taste of Chicago is one of Las Vegas' number one restaurants for Chicago dishes.
He's done BSA. He started with us. Yeah, he's done with Brett Musburger. So you guys want to do 3 picks for next week? And pick some favorite games to talk about?
His ideals that are aligned with our ideals.
Oh, yeah,
In terms of the wager.
100%.
Yeah.
We want to talk about Patriots Bears for sure, right? We talked about it a little bit.
I like the Bears.
You got Bengals Chiefs. Pick the games you want to talk about.
Actually, I like the Patriots, but you talk, you guys, like I
The
said,
Patriots in Chicago?
television.
I just want to talk about what games you want to talk
Again,
about.
that's the same factor.
We're only going to have like
What's the
4
spread
minutes.
on this?
3.5.
No, I'm going with,
That's what I did.
You're going to take
Because
the
of,
home
because
dogs?
of the line.
yeah, because.
Because of the line. Not to mention the fact
No, the environment.
That it's only 3.
there's 3 variables for me. They're coming off a short week, right? Well, not a short week, but they played late Sunday night. New England. It was a big game that they prepped for because you knew Belichick won that game against Kansas City after getting embarrassed last year. Secondly, they're going on the road into Soldier Field, outdoors. Not that bothers New England, but it's just a little more of a rattle for them depending on the weather. And lastly, the Bears have the kind of defense, the kind of pass rush that can rattle Tom Brady with Will Mack reading that.
It's a struggle for power.
I'm trying not to laugh.
You can laugh out loud. Laugh. He laughs on the board.
It's hard to bet against Brady.
I agree.
Open a mic, I laugh.
Listen, I bet against them last
How about
night.
Bengals Chiefs? Want to talk about Bengals Chiefs?
That's an interesting game.
Panthers
I covered
Eagles.
by half.
You covered by half and you lost by half.
So like everyone
It's
else.
just a hat.
So you bet on the Chiefs.
Where'd you play?
Triller.
You know why I
Where?
have this?
Yeah.
I dig it. I wish I had one.
Where did they bet?
Yeah.
Free.
Online.
Somebody left it in the studio. Went, oh, cool. There we go.
I'm not sure I can.
Bengals Chiefs?
All those skinny bastards.
Talk about Bengals Chiefs?
You said that?
I was going.
I didn't hear it.
I was like,
Never did I.
This is hard.
Bengals Chiefs, want to talk about that game? I just ask you what game you want to talk
Looking
about.
up at sure.
We're not going to have time to go
This is
through all
a
of
game
them.
right here, Carolina. and
Even the
Eagles.
dogs are like,
We're gonna do this.
This is a
real
big
fast.
game right here.
yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
Saints
No messing
Ravens.
around
30
with that.
seconds, folks.
You know, I always love talking about Cowboys and Indians.
Just noticed Sanders has no food or drink.
The fact that Atlanta's only
No food or drink,
the
absolutely.
fact that Atlanta's only 3.5 at home against the Giants is a joke. Eli Manning should be in a baby chair eating baby food right now.
How do you know he's not?
I like it. It's not bad stuff.
So Rams favored by 12.5 over the Niners.
Okay, guys, here we go.
Here we go.
What do you have, 12.5?
Maul's coming back in.
We got about 7 minutes, give or take.
Maul!
We scare them out.
No pressure.
Who are these girls here that you keep
He's
posting?
yelling.
John, who are these girls you keep posting? Who is that?
Those are the girls that work at Amari.
They're working at Amore?
Yeah.
Which one? I've never seen those girls. It was 20 years ago today.
What's
Such a
Amore?
great event. Amore, the pizza joint. actually. That's where he goes, that sponsors us. I've never seen her. I remember that.
Hey everybody, Jonathan Scott with Vegas Nonstop, back on the air here at NBC Sports Radio, 9:20 a.m. Also live on Facebook at Jonathan Scott LV, on iTunes and on Google Play, and soon to be on Alexa and at a station near you. Joining us back is sports pioneer, sports betting, wagering, and all kinds of good stuff, John English. And Amal Shah from BSIN and Jeffrey with the G Line 1. Go ahead. So again, I want to say if you want to visit with us, we're going to be at Amore Taste of Chicago right after the show for our Pizza and Podcast. It's on Durango between Flamingo and Twain. Join us over there. And again, if you're looking for something to do tomorrow night, the great Ronnie Foster on the Wurlitzer B3 is going to be at the Sand Dollar tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 10 p.m. And Ronnie Foster's played with Santana. He's played with everybody. So, John, we're talking before the break about sports wagering. Do you have some favorite games going into next week on NFL?
You know, I was just saying to Jeffrey, hard to bet against Brady, but I think I'm going to go against on this one.
Well, listen, it's definitely one of the games that everyone's going to be watching next week.
I'm surprised it's only 3.
What do you mean? You thought New England should be more on the road?
No,
I would think the Patriots would have a bigger, bigger spread.
Tell me why you think that.
no, I think the spread's fine.
You do? You think it's right?
Spread's
By the way, the spread is designed for you right now to put money on the Bears
Spread's
because they know.
Because they're home dogs.
No, because they know that the public bets the Patriots heavy. There are certain teams out there. City, and the Bears have the kind of defense that we know historically
Feel it the freaking
can
wind.
challenge Tom Brady when you have a guy like Khalil Mack breathing down his neck.
And keep in mind, last year the Bears were so successful at home against teams that you would thought would be prohibitive favorites going into Soldier Field.
Minnesota, Green Bay.
Pittsburgh, Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, so there's some spots there. Bears coming off a tough loss, maybe an opportunity for them to bounce back in this one.
Yeah, and a terrible loss to Miami. They're back home now, and New England coming off that big win against an undefeated 5-0 Kansas City team. I'm telling you right now, Khalil Mack's going to have a field day. And he's going to be. I didn't like what I saw out of Brady last night, by the way. I was very concerned.
Really?
Yep.
I
I thought he missed a bunch of passes. I thought he looked like a deer in headlights in the third quarter when he had a third and long. He had an opportunity to get rid of the ball. He took a sack, fumbled, turned the ball over. Next thing you know, Kansas City is going in for a touchdown.
It almost didn't look like he didn't play crack until the fourth quarter.
No, Gronk was in the whole time, but everyone has seen when you double team. The plan now is to double team Gronk. The problem is now with Josh Gordon, a healthy Edelman, and I love this kid Cordell Patterson who came from the Vikings, and Chris Hogan. They have a slew of weapons to throw to. And watch out for this kid Sony Michel in the backfield. He and James White as a two-headed monster make a really nice
the
duo.
both of you had each side at half a point.
What's that?
Yeah, I love that both of you had half. You won by half and you lost by half a point.
Yeah.
This is a big paradigm shift for you guys. Give
Go ahead.
me this one, all
Go
right?
ahead.
From Brady to the Buffalo Bills. What do you think about my Bills at the 5.5 over the Colts?
I would take the Bills.
Well, let me ask you a question. Are we going to see the greatness of Nathan Peterman one more time?
Yeah, what was that yesterday?
Yeah,
Well, listen, here's my thing with these scouts in the NFL, okay? Guy couldn't play at Pittsburgh. There's no reason he's going to get better when he gets to the NFL. Did you not see enough in that one half against the Chargers last year? I didn't even understand why Nathan Peterman is on an NFL
5
roster.
picks?
Yeah.
Play and a half. I mean, that's hard to do.
Half a pick?
I mean,
So what do you think, Doug?
to me, this is a stay-away game. I want to see
Yeah.
what the status of Josh Allen is,
Yeah.
whether he's going to be able to play or not. Here's another thing that I'd like to call out on is Andrew Luck is not as good as people think he is. This guy's a turnover machine. I've heard every excuse under the sun. At some point in time, you either get better or you don't. And in his case, he hasn't gotten better. 3 interceptions yesterday. And this is a guy that is not able to get his team over the top. And I get you can point to the fact they've missed
No
a lot.
O-line.
Listen, you can. Let me ask you a question. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Which one of those guys, besides Corey Linsley, the center, do you want to take with you if you're going to start a team outside of Green Bay?
0.
Haha, Clinton Dix.
Well,
Wrong position.
the wrong side of the ball. But
Pick another favorite game. Pick another favorite game.
Rodgers.
Panthers, Eagles?
Yeah.
Panthers, Eagles?
I'm going to give you a good game. The game in London is going to be a decent game. Tennessee is at the Chargers. I don't know how that line is 3.
Why do you say that?
I'm showing it at 6.5 right now. That already jumped up to 6.5.
Cowboys and Indians. Cowboys and Redskins. 125 game on Sunday. Bueller?
Never an easy game for Dallas. Dallas played outstanding. They played their best game of the year yesterday against Jacksonville. But Redskins' big rivalry game. Very impressed with Washington yesterday, beating Carolina at home.
That's a
and
big
by the
win.
way, Cam Newton, I'm going to tell you right now, you can't win with this guy. The old Mike Singletary line,
Correct.
can't win with him. Can't win with Cam Newton. This guy looked completely disengaged late in that drive. You know, I just thought the effort was last.
I jumped off the sky
lackluster.
after that Super Bowl debacle.
I said the exact same thing.
Rams 49ers, 12 and a half points.
So that's where the huge spread comes into play.
Yeah.
This is where this.
Play it or stay away from
Now,
it.
but let's look at this number, right? The Niners are playing in Lambeau tonight.
Yeah.
They're down 12. The Rams are in San Fran. They're 12-point favorites. So you're telling me the disparity between the Rams and the Packers is what? 8 points?
No. Well, first of all, this line's 9.5 tonight, so that's.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm
the-
looking
the line
no,
line
but
needs
I'm
to
also
be
giving
there.
Green Bay the 3 points for being at home.
So okay, so you're saying 6.5, and you give the 49ers 15 too.
At 12 and a half, no chance.
I want to thank John English for joining us in studio today. The clock on the wall says it's time to go home. It's time to go to a more tasty Chicago Mall shop. Always a pleasure. Jeffrey
down,
Legit.
you got another
Line
minute.
1, go ahead. Slow down, slow down,
Please
slow
down.
down. 49ers and Packers. Join us at a more. There's a speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. Have a great Monday, everybody. You can see us out
Am I
there.
at 45? Am I at
I'm not
33 or
there.
am I at 45?
Eat well, party hard. Thanks, everybody. Like us and share us.
Oh, he's just minute out.
Are you betting tonight's game?
Huh?
You think, right?
I took the under the Dodgers.
You did, huh? I took Milwaukee. I'm trying to marry it with something to get a little value.
Why? You got plus value on them already.
I know.
Don't need to jeopardize it.
True.
I'll wait till after.
Thanks, Bobby.
Got shot a minute early.
I saw
Thank you.
I saw
Hey, man, I'll see you coming over there.
Call me.
No.
No.
No,
Oh, you know what? I wish you had texted this weekend, dude. I had one of my best friends of the year. I got someone. Dude, we were on here.
This was a pleasure. I don't know how we did.
I am surprised we haven't met
Oh,
yet.
we're still rolling.
I'm gonna tell Vinny tomorrow I saw you and say hello to him.